Special assignment right now at 6 o'clock, an up-close look at how President Trump's mass deportation plans have split a local family between the East Bay and Mexico.
He's the one who provided everything for us.
I feel bad, I'm not with them.
We'll travel to Mexico City to meet a Livermore man who was deported decades after entering our country illegally.
I wouldn't like my family to live in here.
And how the rest of his family is trying to hold together.
I'm gonna lose my home. I'm gonna end up in the street with my kids.
With their husband and father 1,800 miles away.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It is perhaps the defining immigration question of our time. What to do with the millions of people who entered the country illegally but have lived here for decades as Americans. So that story is playing out in communities across the country and right here in the Bay Area. Miguel Lopez worked at a Livermore winery for years until he was deported just a few months ago. So his journey through our country's immigration system begins in 1996. At 18 years old, he crossed the border illegally and he got caught. He lied to Border Patrol agents, falsely claiming to be a U.S. citizen, but he was sent back to Mexico. A few months later, he tried again, and this time made it to Livermore with his family. In 1998, Miguel was arrested for DUI and was ultimately convicted of a lesser charge. The following year, in 1999, he met his now wife, Rosa, a U.S. citizen. They got married in 2001, and they started a family. In 2007, Miguel applied for U.S. citizenship, arguing that he was married to a citizen and now had 2 children born in the U.S. who were also citizens. But in 2008, the Department of Homeland Security ordered Miguel to be deported. That long-ago decision to enter the country illegally and to lie to border agents had come back to haunt him and also start a long legal battle. In 2012, a judge sided with Miguel and blocked the deportation order. In 2016, DHS once again submitted an order for Miguel's removal, an order he's been fighting ever since. In May of this year, he was detained by ICE during a routine court appointment and then was deported a few weeks later in June. The question now, what happens? And what happens when someone is deported? When the plane touches down, when the shackles come off? And what happens to the family they leave behind? Our Katie Nielsen went to Mexico City in search of answers. But her story starts in Livermore with the rest of the Lopez family.
For Rosa Lopez, family is everything, which is why her Livermore home plays host to these kinds of family gatherings almost every Sunday night. Now, with a noticeably empty chair.
When we have people over,
he's always right, either with
my sisters or that one.
Rosa and Miguel have been married for 24 years. They have 3 children and 1 grandchild, all U.S. citizens, which is why she never thought they'd have a problem getting Miguel his papers when they first applied almost 20 years ago.
I didn't think it would be hard. My sister had filed for her husband at the time, too. Her whole process was pretty smooth.
While he was waiting for his citizenship, Miguel was able to get a work permit and worked as a welder at Wente Vineyards in Livermore to support his family, while Rosa stayed home with the kids. They bought a house, went on family vacations, went to their son's football games. They were living the American dream until a routine check-in at immigration court in May changed everything.
He's telling me he was getting detained. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? You're lying. No. And I was like, Miguel? And Miguel just didn't answer anymore.
Miguel had been detained by ICE.
He's the one who provided everything for us, and just a whole bunch of stuff started coming to my mind, like what's gonna happen with us if he's not here? You know, if I can't get a job right away, am I gonna lose my home? I'm gonna end up in the street with my kids. Just a lot of stuff. Like, is he gonna be okay? It was just hard.
Miguel's lawyer asked a judge to allow him to stay in the U.S. while they appealed. But just 4 hours before the judge signed the order saying he could stay, Miguel was deported.
Where are you at? He's like, I'm in Tijuana. And I'm like, what do you mean you're in Tijuana? It's not supposed to go like that. He's like, I don't know. He's like, they took me from McFarland to Bakersfield and now I'm in Tijuana.
So that begs the question,
What happens once someone is deported from the United States, like what happened to Miguel Lopez? We traveled 2,000 miles to Mexico City to find out.
It's different from over there. You're used to live better over there than here.
Miguel now lives in Chimalhuacan with his father, about an hour and a half outside Mexico City. And even though he grew up here, he says none of this feels like home.
I want the best for my family, not this. I mean, it's pretty dangerous at nighttime, and even during the day, I mean, there's robberies all day long.
Miguel's brother was shot and killed 2 years ago during a carjacking just a few blocks from where Miguel is living now.
There's only one that you can see right now.
And recently, his father's house has been shot at multiple times in the middle of the night by what they say are roving gang members who demand money from residents in exchange for safety.
There's another one over here.
Miguel and his father say they refused to pay, so they were targeted.
I wouldn't like my family to live in here, especially my granddaughter. I wouldn't like her to grow up right here. I mean, it's different.
In the few months Miguel has been in Mexico, he says he's tried to find work, but the only jobs he can find as a welder pay $65 to $70 a week for a 60-hour work week.
And you don't make enough money. That's not enough, not even to support myself and support my family.
So Miguel spends most of his time inside his father's home, waiting for the few moments a day he can talk to Rosa and the kids.
Hi, Mama.
The only time we saw him smile.
Are you tired?
You ready for a nap?
Otherwise, when we asked about his family, the emotions were just too much.
I feel bad, you know, that I'm not with them, like providing what they need.
How are you?
Good.
Eric. Nice
Miguel.
to meet you. Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
U.S. Congressman Eric Swalwell, who represents the Livermore area, flew down to Mexico City to meet with Miguel.
The way he's been treated is just awful, and it's not the way that you treat somebody who wants to contribute to our country.
Removing the invaders is not just a campaign pledge, it's my solemn duty as Commander-in-Chief. I have an obligation to do it.
Miguel was here illegally to begin with. Why are you fighting for his right to stay?
Miguel represents the best of America. He came here chasing an American dream, and he didn't take anything from us. He gave to his community. And now he's been ripped apart from his family, sent to a place he doesn't know. And what I want people to know is that there's thousands of Miguels right now out there who are living this, nightmare.
President Trump promised to deport 1 million people a year, targeting violent criminals first. But as ICE agents conducted raids all over the country, they soon began detaining people who'd only committed non-violent offenses, and those with jobs, families, and deep roots.
We've been working on getting dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens out of our country. Murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, human traffickers, going out, arresting them, and removing them from our communities so that our families can be safe again at night.
We also reached out to Homeland Security to get a statement regarding Miguel's case. They told us he is, quote, a criminal illegal alien from Mexico, has had a final order of removal from an immigration judge since 1996. Lopez's criminal history includes a conviction for driving under the influence. Lopez exhausted all due process and legal options to remain in the U.S. After nearly 29 years of appeals and delays, ICE deported Lopez on June 6, 2025.
And nobody signed up for this. Americans wanted the worst offenders in our community to be deported. They didn't want the best contributors like Miguel to be separated from their families.
But in his case, that's exactly what happened, teaching Rosa a hard lesson, that the only emotion more powerful than love is loss.
Just everything's very different. How empty our home feels without him. And this man works so hard, and I'm like, this is so unfair. He's like, I feel like I'm failing you guys. I'm like, you're not. You're not. It's not you. I know you've done everything for us, and at the moment you can't. Now it's my turn to do everything for you.
What are you going to do if he really isn't going to be allowed back?
I don't think about that. I think he's going to come home.
Wow. Katie Nielsen joining us in studio now. Your story really takes us through the beginning, middle, and to now that so many are experiencing. It's powerful and it is real life. And I'm curious, has he been able to see his family at all? He's been gone since June, right?
That's right. So that's when he was deported. Now, his wife, Rosa, because she is a citizen, is actually able to travel down to Mexico to go see Miguel. But the problem is he was the breadwinner in their family. So in terms of the finances, very limited right now for her to be able to continue to fly back and forth. She said it costs her about $600 every time she goes down for the just for the plane ticket.
It's a price tag. So then what are the options on the table for Miguel and his family?
So we've talked about the court process that he had already been going through, but another option to become a citizen is literally an act of Congress. And so that is exactly what Representative Eric Swalwell did last week, introduced the Miguel Lopez Naturalization Act, which would mean, if passed, he would become a citizen. The problem is, right now you have Republicans controlling the House and Senate. There's no way that a naturalization act for Miguel is going to be passed. We actually reached out to all 6 Republican members of Congress from California to ask them specifically about this bill, but not a single one wanted to comment.
We'll continue to follow this, certainly, and there's more to come, especially in October.
That's right. So Miguel's family is not giving up the fight on this either. They're going back to the courtroom. He has another hearing October 7th.
All right, we'll continue to cover it. Katie Nielsen, thank you. Great work.